the area. Good morning. It's good to see you all this Thursday. Um, Back at it. I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and your laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th District. I am so grateful that you all take the time to. I say this, and I won't stop saying it until I'm not. But grateful that you guys take the time to join us, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon, to just play catch up. Last night, just putting you guys abreast of things. Last night we had our June town hall at. It was virtual this time, and my commitment to you all as a district is that we do these town halls at least once a month, which allows space for you to get a clear understanding of what's going on, when it's going on, and where we are. Tomorrow is a really, really, really important date. So July 1st is a date that I need all of us to put in the back of our minds each year, especially as we talk about what happens throughout our state. And I'd even put the question out there, does anybody know this significance? If you were at the town hall last night, then I don't want you to answer. Anybody know the significance of July 1 in the world of government? Well, I will tell you. July 1 is when we see many of our new laws, particularly on the state level, enacted. It's like our calendar year. So if you're in the military, you did a fiscal year, which means the beginning of the year was actually October. But if you're on state level and local level things, that means that the beginning of the year actually starts July 1. So tomorrow will be the first day that many of the new laws that we're going to see across the Commonwealth be enacted. Good morning. Good morning. Good job, Tamika. You know this stuff. Last night at our town hall, we did go through some of the new laws that were going to be in effect tomorrow. What I'm hopeful that we'll do, you'll probably start seeing all the news stories that say, hey, don't forget tomorrow, this law will be in effect, this law will be in effect, and I want to be able to roll through those. But I also have an ask, because Saturday morning, I have the opportunity to speak to the local Democratic Party. And I just want to make sure that I extend, good morning, I hope you're able to make it a great day too. I just want to extend an invitation to you all as we sort of get into this work. I'm going to say this, and you'll probably hear me repeat it in a way that it feels like, yeah, Jackie, we get it. We get it. I know you get it, but I want to say this, is that my reasoning for getting into party politics was to do policy better for people. And many of my values align particularly with the Democratic Party. What I know is that as I interact with you all and I see folks, reaching out about issues, and our issues and values align, I know that there's political work, right? Whether it's policy or practices, like I know that there's political work to be done. So Saturday morning at Boss Queen is the Democratic Party breakfast. Now that happens on the first Saturday of every single month. And while I'm sitting here, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have it on the exact time, because it is July 1, right? It is going to be the first. Oh goodness, I went all the way to June because you clicked too many times, Jack. So Saturday at 9 o'clock at Boss Queen. Now Boss Queen is a small business here over in the Janif area, right behind K&G's, that plaza where TJ Maxx and stuff is. There's a little shopping center near Aldi's. That's where we have the breakfast. I want to encourage you guys, if you're able to come have breakfast and just hear some of the things that are going on, and it's an opportunity to not only hear from your your state, local electeds, but your federal and your state, local, and federal electeds. And really challenge us and ask us questions about what we're doing, what we're not doing, and what our plans are for the future. I need you guys in some way, shape, or form to show up and show out. And if you're not able to go to the Democratic Breakfast on Saturday morning at Boss Queens at 9 o'clock, I encourage you guys to sign up for the Certified Doer Summer School. That's those policy work groups we've been talking about. Those are going to start at the end of this month. We've been putting it on social media, trying to get you guys, engaged on this. It is going to be a good time. I'm telling you, I'm excited about the ideas, the knowledge of our community, us using this human capital to really do good things. Like, y'all smart. when I be out here talking to people and they say, Delia Glass or Jackie, I'm like, why? I don't think, why did not think of that? But I'm like, where were you? I needed you. So as we glorify the creative spirit, and we use our own superpowers to help the powers that be do better, let's get it. So I don't know what the dog's barking for. The dog is co-signing that yes, we need to put the powers together. So those are two things, right? Certified Doers Summer School, Democratic Breakfast on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, Boss Queens. And yes, a shout out to Shantae. They be working it over there. Come get you some shrimp and grits. I think breakfast is like $11. If you don't have it, like if you're like, I ain't got $11, let me know. I will sponsor your breakfast. I do not have a problem with that, okay? Because I don't believe that should be a thing. From the town hall last night, I talked a little bit about some of the things that are coming up, particularly, and I'm trying to pull up my document to tell you guys budget-wise. We talked a little bit about the budget stuff before, but I think it's important to have clarity and vision so we're all moving forward from a place of knowledge. Let me pull up my good notes here. And while I'm doing that, you guys feel free. Remember, this is your time, right? I know oftentimes I'm doing a lot of talking during this time, but it's your time, right? So if you have any questions, if you have some things you want to come in and say, it is perfectly okay. It is well within your rights to do. Okay, here we go. So I did get some questions from the town hall that I thought may be really significant. Was asked, how do I get involved? Like, I love hearing that question, especially for folks that want to get involved with young people. I know that Safe Summer Project by Michelle Hairston, and if you don't mind, can you type that? I see you're in here, Vince. Type that Safe Summer Project in here. They are doing a lot of work with youth. HR Mask is doing a lot of work with youth. If you are interested in, trying to volunteer some of your time this summer, let us know. We'll try to connect the dots and maybe do a call in for, if you know an organization that's doing really good stuff, let us know. Let us know, add to the list. Let's keep a list going of ways that folks can get involved. Folks ask a lot of questions about, and Michelle Hairston. So you'll see Safe Summer Project, Michelle Hairston, and I think Jason Ainge is also a huge part of that, making sure that our kids are safe for the summer, because we're not even halfway through yet, all right? And we had some incidences downtown where there were a bunch of kids, 40 kids downtown. Like, there is not much for them to do. And know that next week I'll be having some conversations with folks on activities that I think may be helpful for our youth. If you have ideas, let us know. I know what it was like for me, but I grew up in a really metropolitan area where there was always something for us to get into that was safe and appropriate. But I need you all to be a part of that conversation, and not just that, bring the teenagers in your community in. It is more than okay to stop them and say, hey, what you up to? What you want to do this summer? Like, we have to be in a space where we can listen and speak. I just wanted to make sure that I put those two things out there. I know folks are worried about Roe v. Wade. I know folks are, that there's a lot of there's a lot of concern about what is or is not going to happen in our nearing future. And I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And I know that there needs to be work done. But speaking of our youth, what I'd really like to put out right now, and I need us to all start thinking about this, is the PAGE program. Now, every year in the General Assembly, 13 and 14-year-olds can apply to serve as pages. I'm saying that exactly like the word pages, PAGES, in the House of Delegates and in the State Senate. And so what they do as pages is they support the legislators and the offices of the House and the Senate clerks in running the entire General Assembly. This past session, I had the opportunity to meet some of these pages. I'm telling you, they really kind of help my life. What I want to do is I'm going to put the information in there, because when they apply applications happening, the ages, so the ages of the pages are 13 and 14. They can attend, I think, as a page up to 2 times. The second time that they attend, they can apply to be the head page. Our children, and I mean children in economically advancing communities, as well as, minoritized communities, don't often get the opportunity to be a part of these programs because we don't know about them. But I'm going to put in the chat right now the PAGE program. Good morning, Scott. I'm going to put in the chat the PAGE program. Because I would love to see more of our little citizens from this area, from right here. I'd love to have one right in the district be a part, and tell them if they apply for the House. It looked like they have more fun over here. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be honest. So that's the Q&A for it, and let me double check the application timeline. So will be open. Okay, so this summer they're gonna open up the applications for this program. So you guys, we have to keep an eye out for 2023, as they still are responsible for their schoolwork. They're still responsible for all these other things. They just have to be 14 or 15, and be able to be at session. They get paid to do this, y'all. they get paid to do it. I need y'all to be to sound the alarm on this, so that when the application does come out for the class of 2023, that we've got some little citizens ready to be a part of this program. All right, so information is in the chat, and let's do it. Let's get it. There's chaperones and all that stuff, so please check that out. And make sure you're sharing that information, because once it's a competitive process, but I am more than, good morning. I'm more than excited to advocate for pages in our area for young people that really want to be, or really want to have this experience. Okay. All right. So that I wanted to put that plug in. I highlighted this before, but I'm going to go ahead and put some key information, let you guys know some key information about the budget, the tax relief that's coming. So there's going to be there's a change in let me double check this, because I think I had the wrong numbers, but I'll verify it, that the income tax deduction that's going to happen for individuals up to $8,000 and joint filers up to $16,000 on the state level, we will see rebates this year. We will see a rebate. I believe it's $250 for single filers and $500 for joint filers. The reason why I'm saying I believe, and I should know, because what I think I did, to be quite honest, juggling multiple things, what I think I did is I put the proposed information in there and not the finalized from the conference that we just did. But either way, I'm going to put the Commonwealth Institute, which I've told you guys about, right? The Commonwealth Institute, which does a really great job breaking down the fiscal side of what we do. So it's called the Commonwealth Institute of Fiscal Analysis, and I'm going to go ahead and put their information in here. Key policy choices. Okay, hold on. Here we go. All right, I'm going to put that in the chat for you all. The I'm going to put that in chat. Okay, I think I was right. Okay, maybe I was right. I want to put that half sheet in there for you all to have. The more you know, the more we're able to hold each other accountable, and making sure that we're doing exactly what it is that you ask us, or that you're asking of us to do. Research and policy, and I'm on it. I wish I could share my screen. That would make me so happy, to be able to share my screen with you all in a way that that makes sense. But yes, so there are going to be a reason, so we can expect a rebate at the end of this, at sometime in the fall this year. So we know that the tax on groceries will be gone. The tax on menstrual products will also will be eliminated. So no more period tax, right? I don't know if you guys knew this, but we paid a premium for having our periods on the products that we used for it. So that for those in groceries are going to go, and then that military retiree tax is going to go away in phases. And know that next year, that's one thing on my list of advocating for, that military retiree tax relief to help veterans that were not making big money while they were on active duty. And then there's going to be refunds. Like I said, it's going to refund a portion of the earned income tax credit. Education-wise, what's really important, we saw, was going to be almost a 5% average raise over the next 2 years for our educators. Another $1.25 billion for school construction, 271 to hire more support staff, make it a great day. That foyer, the foyer didn't get cleaned. 271.6 million to hire more support staff, and 62.5 million to increase the number of reading specialists. I'm going to ask you all, if you haven't already done this, in military circle, right, there is an organization called REACH, Reading Enriches All Children. REACH is giving away free books. Free books. You can come and get 2 free books a day from there per child. The child doesn't need to be with you to get the free book. But it's also, there's some adult books there. I've gotten crossword puzzles for some of the elderly in my, the seasoned citizens in my community. We've got to get people to reading. And the compromise that I've made too with my little citizens, and shout out to my son, he just left for work. And I'm working with Teens with a Purpose. Really proud of the fact that he's got a summer job, and that organizations like Teens with a Purpose are providing opportunities. And he's riding his bike, which makes me hecka nervous, right? Super nervous, coming from the Valentine area all the way over to Church Street. But he's done it. Yep. Your daughter used them. Tamika, that's amazing. So Tamika said her daughter used them, and they got books delivered to their home. And that is the phenomenal thing. Here's the step further that we're going to have to do, especially knowing that we're going to start seeing actual SOL scores. This past year, we were waived, right? The scores and things were waived because of COVID. And I remember the other day, my daughter was remarking that, man, there's a lot of kids going to summer school. And I said, and she said, yes. And she said, it's probably because of COVID. We've got to take it a little bit of a step further as a community. Because the state can give as much money as they want to reading and reading specialists and get people in the classroom, but it has to come back to the community in some way, shape, or form. I am telling you, when we did our homework house, we saw grades improving. We saw attitudes toward reading improving just by telling the kids, you're going to give me 10 minutes. You're going to give me 10 minutes of reading. And even if the babies can't read, even our littles that were preschoolers, we put a book in their hands and they sat there and they made up a story. It's just a habit. I need you to pick up a book and demonstrate the act of reading. And actually, it doesn't have to be a book. What motivated me to read as a child was watching my father read the newspaper and then getting the funnies from him, which I could not read, right, at the time. or reading a magazine. My oldest citizen likes to read graphic novels on his phone. I don't love it because of the blue light, but I did get him blue light glasses, just being aware of that. But he's putting air in his, doing his pre-flight checks. Um, uh, I don't like it because of the blue light, but I did get him some blue light glasses from, Walgreens, or I can't remember where we got him, so that when he's on his phone and reading the graphic novels on his phone, that we're doing no harm. I do not want us to start discouraging children and saying they have to read certain types of things to be readers, because I'll tell you this, as a lawmaker, I don't, I love books. I have an unhealthy obsession with children's books. I have an office full of them. But books that are appropriate for me, I like to have the book, but I use Audible a lot, right? Like, I listen to books more so than I read books. And because I get easily distracted by the act of sitting there with the book in my hand. It's squirrel, right? Like, squirrel thing, other things sort of tempt me off, but I do listen to books. And I love to read boring stuff. Most people would consider it boring. I could read a policy all day. But yes, I need us to all get into the habit. So like I said, that there's going to be over 271 million to hire more support staff, and that 62.5 million increase in reading specialists specifically for elementary schools. Higher education includes this additional funding, additional 140 million for financial aid for students at our public universities, and then there's some tuition assistance, about $28.3 million worth of tuition assistance for students at private universities. Healthcare wise, y'all, what we did see that there's funds that of an additional like 60 development disability waivers, right? This is important. I plan on doing a lot more homework and research on Medicare, reimbursements, about folks not being able to get services for specific items because the reimbursement formula is off, or they're not. There's a lot to be put inside the brain to do the good work. But this is why I need you guys in our policy work groups, because as we sort of put our toe into the water on these different issues, we do want people's lived experiences. And I'll give a good example of that with the switchblades. Like, switchblades are going to be legal tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be first day of switchblade. And when the bill came up, and I said this on a town hall last night, so if you're there, forgive me for repeating. When the switchblade thing come up, I'm like, okay, what else do you use a switchblade to do other than what? Nobody's in the kitchen popping over their switchblade and cutting an apple, unless you're my mama. I'm just messing. I'm just messing, Mom. But like this, but we had some folks with disabilities and talked about, wanting to be able to, have ways to protect themselves, maybe have a weapon on them if they needed it, or just having, a usable knife in that way that is on them. And a switchblade is one that's easy for them to use. The one gentleman didn't have usage of one of his hands. And so you just sometimes I say that to say, sometimes when I'm looking at this policy, I'm looking at it only from my lens, right, of my lived experience. And when other people come into the room, I can get a fuller picture. Is it a complete? No, I don't think we ever get policy perfect. I don't think we ever get a complete picture, but we can get the opportunity when folks like you show up and show out in a way. There is going to there provides a 214.2 million increase reimbursement rates for personal care, for dental care, for home care, for community-based services. It also includes a 19.6 million to improve the state mental health facilities. Let me tell you, I'm going to encourage you guys to go to the CHKD website, and actually I should have it here. CHKD has been putting on a lot of courses for mental health with the teens, support groups for parents trying to have the conversations with their children about mental health, or even sex, or whatever it is. I super appreciate what they're trying to do. Classes, hold on, these classes, I want to not say it and be able to get you guys that information. But they've been, if you go to their Facebook page, you guys are on Facebook, go ahead and get on CHKD's Facebook page. They've been having webinars, a lot of great resources for parents and for folks in the community working with our youth, having these uncomfortable conversations with the young people on a variety of things. Charlene said the concern will be the qualities of we're finding qualified staff to fill the positions that to be funded. Retirements are high in, are high in all schools. You're exactly right. That was brought up last night in the sort of mentioned in the town hall as well, is that, we can have all the money in the world, but if we don't have the human capital to staff it, then we're losing. And there are there's a myriad of different reasons for that. Pay is a reason, but also culture. Our teachers, just like our police, have been politicized in a way that what makes people want to walk away from the profession. And that's real. That is very real. So here we are at a place where we're trying to build a culture around people that want to keep us safe and want to serve, right? Safe and serve, and that is educators and law enforcement. But yet we are doing the things that draw them away from the profession. So it is going to be a tough bet getting folks into to these positions to be able to support the growth of our community that starts at the root, which is our young. That's a great point, Charlene. Thank you for making it. So I've got a couple areas of concern with the budget. Like we should have invested in some more key areas for, public safety, particularly gun violence, which is only receiving about $4 million a year. What I was going to say, we are very fortunate as a city that we got our $1 million and a carve out in that. And we're grateful for that, but we know what that means, right? We're funding an opportunity and not necessarily a solution, and I want to be really clear on that, is that I will always appreciate the opportunities that we get, but not afraid to say that, hey, we will have people coming back saying we're not doing enough. And I know that enough is a benchmark it's a moving benchmark, but at the very least, give us a fighting chance. The lab schools piece is troubling because of the way it takes away from our public schools, but also knowing that, we've got to do better by our public schools. Doesn't matter whether it was Republican or Democrat in charge, we had opportunities to do things that have not been done. And that's a whole problem. And most troubling part, we talked about this, is, setting policy through the budget. Let's get ready for the next steps. Which means we need to prepare for next session, okay? We need to be preparing right now for 2023. I suspect as we get our policy work groups by September 1, this office will know what we're putting in. We will know the budget amendments for the most part. We will know the legislation and budget amendments that we want to put in for the next session, and that's why those policy work groups are going to be so important. Between July and August, because we can't be playing around, and we have to work with these partners to make sure that we get the good work done right here in our own backyard. Sound good, y'all? I think we could do that on this Thursday morning. All right, as I round out, we are at 28 minutes and 45, 46, 47, 48 seconds. I will again plug the fact that we are having a Democratic breakfast on Saturday. Let me see if I can get the link for that. It's later than you think, folks. Yeah, we got, yeah, it's later. I feel like the year started and it's gone. And I do want to express gratitude for the grace that I've been given. Being on the job for 6 months now has been an adventure. But I appreciate you guys being patient as we row into these britches, right? Breakfast, right? I'm gonna put the breakfast link in there, right? Come and invite folks. It is real to have. Here it is. Hold on, sorry guys. Thank you for your patience with me. Here he is. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up here. You don't have to sign up to go, but I think it's helpful when you do, just so that you know. Here we go. I'm gonna put their Facebook. Oh, we just hit 30 minutes. All right, trying to stick to it. Show up on Saturday for breakfast. If $11 is too much, I think that's about how much it costs. Please don't hesitate to let me know. I will sponsor breakfast so that you get to see your state, local, and federal. Bobby Sky, I think, was there last time too, so that you get to be a part of that. Secondly, policy work groups. You are what is going to make it great, and I hope to see you in the face. So in the place, and look at your face. Until next time, I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy Vet Certified Doer, your laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th District. And I look forward to seeing you guys hopefully on Saturday at, I believe it's 9 a.m. I'm verifying. I think I said that. I see someone ask. Yep, 9 a.m. Yep, at 9 a.m. Be there, be square. Yeah. Copy. All right. Make it a great day.